momentum heading into the U.S. Open. Defending champion Lindsay Davenport and Justine Henin-Ardenne. Hello, everyone. Bill McAtee along with Mary Carrillo. Welcome to New Haven. And Mary, we got a lot going on here, don't we, with this final?
It's tremendous, isn't it? I mean, all summer long there have been so many injuries, pullouts, no-shows in women's tennis. Here we are with the U.S. Open yawning ahead starting on Monday. 7 of the top 10 came to play here in New Haven. 3 of the top 5, including the defending champion Lindsay Davenport, who's finally back, and the French Open champion Justine Henin-Ardenne. This could not be a better looking final.
Well, let's talk first about Lindsay Davenport. She said she's just happy to be here. She didn't know what to expect this week.
No, but she has served so well, and everything about Davenport's confidence level is dependent on the serve, because then her ground game gets even bigger. She returns so well. She strikes the ball so cleanly. You know, for somebody who's barely played professional tennis this season, she doesn't look it at all.
And Justine Henin-Ardenne, she's been off for the last 6 weeks, and she has played amazingly well this week.
If possible, Justine looks even sharper. I mean, she hasn't played since losing that Wimbledon final to Amelie Mauresmo, has taken the rest of the summer off. She's had a couple of knee problems, and she just wanted to rest it up. But I have not seen her really need to kick any rust off of her game in the last couple of days.
So a terrific final here in New Haven. Lindsay Davenport, Justine Henin-Ardenne. That's coming up here on CBS. She hasn't dropped a set yet. And that was impressive, 6-3, 6-3. And a huge win for Lindsay. Came in the quarterfinals against Amelie Mauresmo, 6-4 and 7-5. And she has not dropped a set either this week. Lindsay will serve to start it. Lynn Welsh, our chair umpire. And love 15. Lindsay is playing in the final here for the 6th time. She had 4 straight runner-up finishes before finally getting over the hump and winning the title last year, beating Mauresmo 6-4 and 6-4. She hasn't lost a set here in New Haven since 2004.
Well, she's a big supporter of this event, Bill, and she calls it the calm before the storm, which is about right with the U.S. Open coming up. 15-30.
15-30. She says she just likes the laid-back nature of the event. The court suits her game, she feels. So look at Justine, 24 years old. Justine is looking for her 5th title of 2006. She won in Sydney, Dubai, of course, Roland Garros for the 3rd time, and at Eastbourne. Her ranking now number 3 in this, her best result ever here in New Haven.
If she wins this match, she goes up to number 2. Wow, that's nice. And here's early trouble from Davenport. Justine Henin-Ardenne has got a nice record against Lindsay since being able to do this. She lost the first 5 times she'd ever played against Davenport when she finally beat her a couple of years ago at the Australian. She said it changed her whole career, fighting off all the big power.
Great point saved.
Justine says about finally breaking through and beating Davenport. That victory gave me a lot of confidence. The fact that I could finally beat her, a powerful player, a tall player, because I'm not so tall and I'm not so strong. All right, I'll give it to her on the tall side, but she's very strong. She's made herself into such a tremendous physical force. She can go up against all this power. She's giving a very stern test to Davenport in the opening game of the match, challenging the Davenport serve, which is so key for Lindsay. And here comes a break point. Henin-Ardenne.
Justine has won the last 6 meetings. The most recent came in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. Justine won in 3 sets. It's just long, so another break point saved.
Deuce.
Davenport was being treated on the court yesterday against Sam Stosur. Tough Aussie player who took her to tie-break sets, and she was working on her arm. She's in fact, she had some treatment. She said her arm is just so tired. She's played more tennis this week, she says, than in the last six months. And another break point.
And keeping the pressure on.
Advantage. And in our
Davenport sort of took a stab at that a little late, and that's why it was able to sit up for Justine, who uses her quickness as such a tremendous weapon.
Third break point.
That's a miss. She
Deuce.
is, even if she does not break Davenport here, Bill, she's sending such a message that she's going to be going after the Davenport serve all day long.
It's hard to think of Justine as potentially being more aggressive, but she said that's one of the things she worked on during those 6 weeks away, especially attacking the second serves.
Advantage. And in our down.
Break point number 4. Opening game of the championship of Pilot Pen Tennis. Lindsay Davenport in the near court. Justine Henin-Ardenne, the reigning French Open champion, in the far court.
Game. And in our down.
Well, the early break goes to Justine Henin-Ardenne.
First game.
And it is time now for Lever 2000, keys to the match.
Perfect match. Well, we're asking a lot of both players, but Davenport, again, she's in trouble because she couldn't hold serve. You know, and I really feel strongly that she's got to try to take this down in straight sets, not only because she's played a lot of tennis this week, but because Justine Henin-Ardenne gets tougher and tougher to play. Justine will try to make this more of a track meet, try to make it more about her running an all-court game than Davenport's ball striking.
It's interesting, Mary, when power became such a factor in the women's game, a lot of people felt that maybe Justine would not be able to keep up.
Exactly.
And she has adapted remarkably well.
Well, that was the other key, that she's got to match Davenport's aggression with her own. You know, great to have Martina Hingis back after a 3-year hiatus from the game. Another reminder that they've played 10 times, but the last 5 have gone to this woman. You know, Hingis still cannot match the aggression of the big players around her. Though she's done a tremendous job of coming back. She's even in the top 10 now. But she cannot do, as a small player, what Justine can do.
40 love.
She can't whip clean winners like that. She can carve out and she can create magnificent points, Martina Hingis. But she doesn't have that right there.
Game. Einen Nordell.
She holds at love.
Einen Nordell leads
And 2
2
love.
games to love.
So an early hole for Lindsay Davenport, who will serve for the 2nd time. Only her 2nd tournament back since March. Bulging discs in her back kept Lindsay out for 4 months. In fact, she said she went almost 4 months without even hitting a ball.
Well, this is not a good start for Davenport. You know, it's like a pitcher who had a very tough first inning. Got beat up on, and now she starts this game with a double fault. Keep in mind, she's got a weary arm anyway.
She was asked at her press conference yesterday because she was treated during the match if there was an injury, and she said not really. The arm just feels heavy. She says, I played so much tennis, more tennis in the last week than in the last 6 months, and she said everything just feels a little slow and a little heavy. So I wanted to keep things loose if I could. 15 all.
30-15.
30-15. And yesterday in the semifinals, there was Lindsay just trying to keep the shoulder and the arm loose. Got to be a bit of a shock to the system to come out and play so much tennis at this level so abruptly.
Well, she wanted to play more tennis going into the U.S. Open, and she was disallowed by the Sony Ericsson WTA Tour to enter the Canadian Open last week because she hadn't signed up for it. She hadn't committed to playing it earlier. She misses that easy one. So then now there's a little bit of mental fatigue that you have to assume she's been feeling and really feeling now.
Well, it's early in the match, but this is obviously a key moment. Lindsay would be down 2 breaks. Fierce ground strokes from Justine Henin-Ardenne. And she has the early lead up to breaks 3 love first set. Courtesy of the HP Hood Blimp. The HP Hood Blimp can be seen throughout the Northeast at various events throughout the year.
Seats, please, ladies and gentlemen, ready for play.
Virtually no wind.
Thank you.
Here in the New Haven area after late summer rain early this morning. And there's what Lindsay needs to do a lot more of, Mary.
Love 15.
Love 15.
Interesting that Justine Henin-Ardenne was trying to serve and volley behind that one. Doesn't do that an awful lot, but the nice healthy lead she's got, she was willing to.
And one of the changes for Justine is this service motion. There's another winner. She changed it up during her 6 weeks away.
Said she was looking to simplify it. You know, she can double fault on you, Justine Henin-Ardenne. She wanted to be able to simplify it so that there are even fewer moving parts.
30, 15.
She still had quite a few double faults this week at the Pilot Pen. But she'll just keep going. I mean, if she errs in one specific way, time and again, this woman, it's that her answer is always more aggression. With the success she's had, you know.
Yeah, you can't argue with that.
15.
5 Grand Slams, 3 Grand Slam finals this year.
Net. First serve.
It's interesting, though, when you think about Justine. I mean, she is the perpetual David in a league of Goliaths.
2 breaks.
First serve.
Love.
15 love.
How important is this match for Lindsay's peace of mind going into the U.S. Open? Or is just getting to this point a success this week?
She said that she's very happy. She said even after she beat Sam Stosur yesterday, she said even if I'd lost that match, I would have felt like this has been a very good week. But the fact is, Bill, these two could play each other in the quarterfinals of the U.S. Open. So, you know, that's always, and she'd like to be able to turn the tide of their meetings in recent years. It's been 3 years since she's beaten Justine. And she used to dominate the Belgian. Nice.
30-15.
30-15.
Beautiful little change-up. It's such a clever backhand she's got. It can be so outright aggressive that you have to guard against that. And you can't often protect yourself against that little fade she gives as well.
$30 all.
Well, back to 30 all. Lindsay has fallen out of the top 10 in the world to number 11. This is so the first time since computer rankings began in 1975. There are no American women in the top 10 in the world.
Hey, look back.
30-40.
Break point.
Game and Ardenne.
Well, a one-sided opening set. 5-love, Justine and Ardenne.
That leads 5 games to love.
Port and serving for this opening set at 5-love. This is Justine's first tournament back since getting to the Wimbledon final 6 weeks ago. Lost at the All England Club to Amelie Mauresmo. She's been out, though, with an injured right knee for the last 6 weeks.
I was having coffee with my old buddy Ann Worcester, who runs this tournament. And I congratulated her on the field she got this year. And she said, you know, it doesn't always shake out that way. If you're the tournament right before the U.S. Open, you know, a lot of times if players have played a lot, they'll yank out of your tournament, but it hasn't happened much here. This summer, she had people asking to get in. And then she had Kuznetsova asking to get in, and Ardenne. It was like everybody in the pool, because they needed matches before the Open. So it worked out great for her this year.
And this is also one of the really great events in tennis. They do such a good job here. Appreciate all their hospitality this week. There's a nice return from Lindsay.
40-15.
It's a nice serve as well. It was deep. But Davenport is such a pure ball striker. She got every bit of that one.
Game. And
Not
first
that it
set.
mattered, though.
22
Another
minutes is all it took.
16 still up.
6-love, Justine Enna Ardan.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call your attention to the Olympus.
Liesl Chase from the Sony Ericsson WTA training staff out looking at Lindsay Davenport's looks like
Look
her
at
right elbow,
Looks
and
like Lindsay's crying as well.
a few tears. Lindsay obviously in pain.
She just looks like a little girl, doesn't she? This is tough. That last when that last set was over, very quick set it was. The frustration of Davenport was apparent, and now she's going to be treated. Hopefully she won't have to retire from this match. She's taken an official injury timeout.
So
But
she's-
obviously they've got to work, you know, on her back area, Bill. That's why she's got to leave the court, because it's a shoulder strain. She's got to, obviously they've got to take her shirt off to work on it. Not something you want to do on stadium court. So Justine Enna will wait and watch. Here
mentioned
was
the
Lindsay.
frustration at the end of that set.
Oh, that's too bad.
I talked to Lindsay yesterday, and she said that about 6 weeks ago, she was leaning toward retirement. There's Adam Peterson, who's Lindsay's coach. She was leaning toward retiring. She said that she had really a 2-day window because of the timing of the U.S. Open, where she knew she had to decide whether she was going to come back and play or retire. She wasn't sure if she could put in the work that was required to get back to the level where she could still win a Grand Slam. Whether or not she still had that inside her, that desire. But she decided, yep, I want to give it another shot. She got back into a routine. There's Lindsay's mom, and started this comeback, not really knowing what to expect. And Davenport looking on. Her mom has been with her every step of the way. We'll be back with more from New Haven right after these messages. And there's clearly a frustrated Lindsay Davenport being looked at by Liesl Chase. There were some tears. She was obviously in pain. Now she's back and ready to give this second set a go.
Second set.
And we'll learn a lot here early in the second set.
Fifteen all.
15 all.
These two are both old school, Bill. There's an experiment going on here in the last couple of weeks on the women's tour for on-court coaching. You're allowed to use it once a set, and if your opponent has an injury timeout, the other opponent's allowed to call a coach. Neither one of these has done that. I was talking to Lindsay's coach, Adam Peterson, this morning.
15.
He said that you know, neither one of them was really too big on the idea. Kind of old school Adam is, kind of much like myself. But he also said that the other day when Kuznetsova was playing her match and Stefan Ortega, her coach, came out on the court. It's mic'd. If you want to do it, you have to get mic'd so the TV audience can hear the conversation. Afterwards, Adam listened to Stefan. He was watching on TV. He went up to him later and said, boy, that was kind of interesting what you said to him. He looked at him like he was great. What do you mean? You heard that? Our buddy Mary Jo Fernandez, who speaks fluent Spanish, was able to translate the whole thing. Adam said that Lindsay's doesn't want to do that. She wants to figure out the way to play the matches herself, and that's what Justine's like as well. And I said, you know, she doesn't like the idea that you can eavesdrop on their conversations, on what she feels is going wrong with her and her game.
Well, Lindsay's still struggling, and Justine with an early break now to start the second set.
I think it's over. It's over.
She can't go. That's it. She gave it a try.
Due to injury, Ms. Davenport is forced to retire. Match 2, and then again, 6-love, 1-love, retire.
Justine consoling her.
Well, Justine couldn't finish the Australian Open final against Amelie Mauresmo and was much maligned by it because just a round before, Justine had played so well, beating Sharapova in the semis, and she had pronounced herself fit and ready to go. And when that match ended quickly against Mauresmo, Justine took some real heat for it. But she was very gracious to Davenport right there. She knows that feeling.
And then you have to wonder, looking ahead for Lindsay Davenport to the next couple of weeks, how serious is it? And will it impact her play at the Open? And it was clear when she came back out in the tone of that first game of the second set that she just wasn't going to be able to get it done. And that face tells the entire story. It was a terrific week. It unfolded far better than she expected, but that was a blessing and a curse. The curse was that this body, which had not had too much tennis at this level, suddenly was forced to endure some very difficult times, and so she paid for it today.
Yeah, it's hard to watch her being so upset. You know, this could very well be the final U.S. Open for the 30-year-old Lindsay Davenport. Everyone's talking about Agassi's farewell, and that's going to be one of the huge stories of the 2006 U.S. Open starting on Monday. But the same can be very true of Lindsay, and I'm sure she wanted to give herself the very best look at having a good U.S. Open. She won the title back in '98. Now you have to wonder just how fit she will be going into that.
Mary, as you watch her, you got to think it's not the physical pain that's creating so much angst with Lindsay. It's the fact that maybe she's thinking that if this is my last U.S. Open, I don't want to go out with a whimper. I want to have my best tennis. Well, Justine Henin-Ardenne has won the championship. Lindsay Davenport has retired. We'll try to talk to Lindsay when we come back with more from New Haven. Back in New Haven for Pilot Pen Tennis, and there's the story. Justine Henin-Ardenne has won the championship. Lindsay Davenport forced to retire, and Lindsay has been gracious enough to join us from courtside. And Lindsay, tell me about the injury.
Yeah, I mean, been struggling a little bit with my shoulder for most of the week. You know, just all of a sudden playing all these matches every day in a row. And, you know, towards the latter stages of my match yesterday, it started moving down my arm a little bit. And, you know, today it's kind of even gone down into, like, the wrist from the whole arm. And it's just, you know, it's so hard to come back and do well and win a lot of matches and not get hurt.
Justine obviously didn't let up the entire time. When did you sense there was something wrong?
Well, I mean, I kind of, you know, knew even in warm-up, and, you know, I was hoping that, you know, you get through what you can and see what happens. But, you know, as it kept going, I mean, all of a sudden it started translating into forehands and not just serves. And pretty soon it's like, okay, you know, you can take as much as you can. And especially, obviously, with New York coming up and everything that I've been through, just trying to, you know, go forward with my best foot.
Lindsay, it's hard to watch you. Obviously, it's emotional for you. You haven't been able to play a lot of tennis. Now you're playing good tennis, and you can't finish a final. I'm trying to remember a final you have had to retire from, and I don't remember one.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I've definitely had to retire in the past. There's no question. But in a situation like this, like I said, it's such a great tournament. I feel terrible for everybody, obviously here, and I just hope that it gets better next week.
Can you ask for a late start at the U.S. Open and hope for the best? I mean, what are you going in now?
I don't know. I've kind of just tried to come back and this time around and not let things bother me. Just go with what I'm given. Hopefully they'll have some understanding, but I know there's much bigger things that go into that decision than one player's injury. So, if it is to be that I have to play Monday, then I'll do everything I can the next 48 hours to make sure that I can take the court.
Obviously there's another great American champion, Andre Agassi, who has announced that this will be his final U.S. Open. I know you haven't announced that yet, but if in fact this is your final U.S. Open, wouldn't you like to give it a good ride? I mean, do you think that it's possible that you have the chance to show your best stuff considering your condition right now?
Well, I hope so. I had a lot of hope in the beginning of the week, and I felt I've made a lot of strides. This is obviously a major setback, but hopefully not one that I can't overcome. I feel like if I could maybe get through that first round, it might be easier there when you play every other day. Maybe have some time, more time off. Than this is my 5th day in a row trying to play a match, and I think it was just too much for me too soon.
What will you do now to try to get healthy for the Open?
Probably just load some ice up, sit in bed. Won't be taking the court most likely till warm up right before my match, whenever that is, and hope for the best.
Well, you've been such a great champion, and we so much appreciate all the effort over the years and all that you've given us, and we wish you the best going forward heading into the Open.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Lindsay Davenport, and there's Justine Henin-Ardenne. She has accomplished a great deal this week after a 6-week layoff, but for Lindsay, it was a difficult conclusion to what had been a terrific week. She said, even if I had lost in the semifinals, I would have been happy with my performance. And so an uncertain future for Lindsay Davenport. Justine Henin-Ardenne. We'll hear from her when we come back. You wanted things to end in this championship. When were you first aware that Lindsay was struggling?
From the beginning of the match, I could feel that she wasn't hitting the ball as usual, and I could see she was in so much pain. So that she took the right decision. I know how hard it is to retire especially during a final, but I think it's very disappointing for her, and it's not a good feeling for me to win this way. So, but anyway, it's been a good week so far for me.
It has been an unbelievable week for you, Justine. Not only can I not detect any rust in your game, but there's even improvement. Your aggression from every department. Yeah, are you a little surprised that you're playing this well?
Yeah, I was a bit surprised because after a few weeks off, you just need a little bit of time to get used to the rhythm again, get used to the pressure, the tension, and I think I did a really good job. I've been very aggressive. I served pretty well. I played well on the important points, so a lot of very positive things for next week.
You said yesterday that you try every single day to find a way to get better. What are the ways that you've gotten better during that 6-week layoff?
I think I worked a lot on my serve. Technically, I changed a little bit my movement, which is great. After 10 years with Carlos, we keep improving. We find all the little details that could make a big difference. So we worked pretty hard, and I'm very happy the way it ended for me this week.
Well, congratulations on an outstanding week. Our champion, Justine Henin-Ardenne.
Thanks a lot.
And she has to be, again, one of the favorites heading into the National Tennis Center. She's won the U.S. Open once. Disappointment, though, for Lindsay Davenport. 5th title of the year and 28th of her career. Signed a few autographs here in New Haven. Lindsay Davenport forced to retire early in the 2nd set. Well, as part of the American Express Summer of Aces program, American Express will donate $50 to the USTA Tennis and Education Foundation's Aces for Kids initiative for each ace served on stadium court across all 10 U.S. Open Series tournaments. To date, American Express has raised over $500,000 worldwide to support the growth of tennis on a global basis, and 128,000 raised this summer. Some of the young fans. Justine will sign a few more autographs. And again, this has to bode so well for her, Mary, heading into the National Tennis Center 6 weeks away, and she looked awfully sharp.
No, she did, and you know, here this is a woman who decided to take a late entry into this, a wild card, and she could not have asked for better preparation after spending all that time away from the game. And the U.S. Open starting Monday. This is pitch perfect preparation for Justine N. Ardenne. You've got to take her so seriously now at the Open.
She didn't drop a set all week. Justine N. Ardenne back with more right after this.